You think installing solar panels is all about saving a buck on your power bill. But in my neighborhood, it turned into a full-blown war with a guy who thought he owned the sun itself. My name's Jake Turner, and this is how my grandpa, a 70-year-old vet with a knack for wiring things, zapped the HOA president, sparked a neighborhood rebellion, and accidentally blacked out half the block before breakfast. It all started in a place called Pine Hollow, and trust me, it's a story you won't forget. Pine Hollow's one of those suburbs where everybody's lawn looks like it's been ironed, and you can't sneeze without someone citing a bylaw. My family's been here forever. Me, my folks, and Grandpa Walt, who's basically a mix of MacGyver and your crankiest uncle. Last spring, Dad got fed up with our skyrocketing electric bill and decided to go solar. Took him months, YouTube deep dives, 2 scam contractors, and a lot of yelling about grid dependency. Finally, he hired a local guy, Pete, who rolled up in a van that said SunVolt in the goofiest font you've ever seen. Mom was just glad it was happening. I was psyched to charge my e-scooter for free, and Grandpa? He kept muttering about panel durability under hostile conditions. We laughed it off, classic Walt, always planning for an apocalypse nobody else saw coming. The panels went up, sleek and black, cut our bill by half, and for a minute we felt like we'd cracked the suburban code. Then Carl Dempsey showed up. Carl was the HOA president, a guy who wore loafers to mow his lawn and carried a clipboard like it was a scepter. He had this permanent scowl, like he was personally offended by joy, and a Bluetooth earpiece he never took off, even in the shower, probably. One Saturday, he bangs on our door like he's serving a warrant. "Your solar panels," he says, before Dad can even say hi, "violate Section 5, aesthetic uniformity. Black's not an earth tone." Dad's standing there, coffee mug in hand, like, "Earth tone? They're on my roof, Carl." But Carl's already handing over a fine. $3.50, predated, like he'd been waiting to pounce. Grandpa, sipping his black coffee on the porch, mutters, "Here comes King Clipboard again." See, Walt and Carl had history. Back in '09, Carl tried to fine him for a non-compliant blue birdhouse that was hidden behind a shrub. Walt never forgot, and neither did Carl. It didn't stop with the fine. A week later, our mailbox vanished. Poof, gone. Then we got a notice saying our trash cans were too aligned. The streetlight out front started flickering like it was auditioning for a horror flick. Grandpa called it sabotage. Said Carl was flexing his HOA muscle to make us bend. Dad checked with the power company. Nothing wrong on their end. Mom called Carl, who played dumb, said we were imagining threats. I wasn't buying it. One night, I stayed up, camped out by my window, and at 3 a.m., there he was, Carl Dempsey, sneaking across our yard with a headlamp and a screwdriver, looking like a budget burglar. I thought he was fixing something till I saw him climb the roof. By morning, 2 panels were gone, clean as a whistle. Carl's excuse? Kids these days. Grandpa stared him down, eyes like lasers, and said, "You think you're smooth, don't you, Dempsey?" That's when Grandpa went full battle mode. He dug out this old box labeled Perimeter Defense. Think duct-taped GoPros, some sketchy infrared lights, and a motion sensor shaped like a squirrel. "Vietnam taught me patience," he said, rigging a camera to our mailbox. "This guy's about to star in a nature doc." We caught raccoons, a stray cat, and then jackpot Carl, back at it with a ladder, gloves, trying to unscrew another panel at 2 a.m. We showed the footage to the HOA board, thought we had him. Carl just laughed, called it AI-generated nonsense. The board, half of them his golf buddies, nodded like he'd cracked the case. Grandpa leaned over to me, voice low. "They want to fight? I'll give them a shock they won't forget." Now, Grandpa's not some tech genius. He yells at the toaster and thinks Wi-Fi's a government plot. but he's got this knack for wiring stuff that'd make an engineer jealous. He pulled out blueprints of our house, sketched a plan on the back of a pizza box, and grinned like a kid with a slingshot. "We're teaching Carl some basic electricity," he said. "Here's where it gets wild." He wired the panel frames to our metal fence, low voltage, nothing deadly, just enough to make you regret your life choices. He called it the welcome zap. We tested it on a watermelon, split it clean in half, smoked like a bad barbecue. Grandpa nodded. "Needs tweaking." We dialed it down, added a kill switch, and I'm thinking, I'm in a spy movie with a lunatic. That night we waited, Grandpa in a lawn chair, coffee in hand, like he's at a drive-in. Right on cue, 3 a.m., Carl climbs the fence. There's a yelp like a cat got launched, a thud, and we find him sprawled in the roses, one loafer missing, clipboard halfway to Narnia. He's muttering about divine intervention, staggers off, and by morning the neighborhood's buzzing. The zap heard round Pine Hollow goes viral, well, group chat viral. Carl's not done, though. He shows up to an emergency HOA meeting with a neck brace, limping like he's auditioning for a soap opera, and a USB stick he thinks is his ace. The community center's packed. Folks brought snacks, lawn chairs, even a flask or two. It's the biggest show since Mrs. Larson's dog ate a firecracker. Carl takes the podium, face pale, voice shaking. "Our community," he says, "is under attack by rogue electrified vigilantes." He clicks through a PowerPoint, his bruised arm, a fake graph labeled escalation risk, and a sketch of Grandpa looking like a mad scientist. He pushes a new rule. Ban all unauthorized energy devices. Fines up to $500 a day. Dad stands up. "You're mad because you got caught stealing our panels." Carl's eye twitches, but the board, his cronies, passes it. Grandpa whispers, "Cowards. Time for Phase 2. Phase 2 was nuts. Grandpa turned our garage into a war room, blueprints, wiring diagrams, a whiteboard labeled HOA equals tyranny. He rigged a baby monitor, some old GoPros, and a plastic gnome that I'm pretty sure had a chip from a Cold War missile. The fence got an upgrade. Motion sensors, floodlights, and a voice blaring. "Back off the panels." It worked. Carl stayed away, but the HOA didn't. We got daily notices. Grass too lush, panels too shiny. My sister's garden flamingo provocative. Then a letter demanding we rip out the panels in 72 hours or pay compounding fines. Mom was ready to yeet a pie at Carl's house. Grandpa called a family huddle. "This ain't a man," he said, pacing. "It's a system, and systems break when you push back." We pushed. Grandpa started helping neighbors fight Carl's rules. He wired Mrs. Wong's porch lights to blast Sweet Caroline when anyone got too close. Mr. Patel's sprinklers soaked anyone lingering on his lawn. Folks got bold, wind chimes, weird lawn art. One guy put up a fountain shaped like a fist. The vibe shifted. People weren't scared anymore. Then Carl upped the ante. Midnight, a white van rolls up, HOA compliance on the side. 3 guys, including Carl's buddy Dave from the board, creep out with tools and a ladder. I sprint to Grandpa. "They're here." He hits a button. Lights blaze, speakers scream. "Trespasser alert." A tiny zap sends Dave tripping over his own ladder. They bolt, but leave a note. "This ain't over." Carl was unraveling. Scuffed loafers, faded polos, eyes like he hadn't slept since the zap. He wasn't just after us. He wanted the whole neighborhood to bow. Grandpa saw it coming, said Carl needed to be the king of Pine Hollow, and we were his rebellion. So we went big. Operation Sunstrike. We built a fake panel, called it a next-gen solar amplifier, worth $25,000. Per a blog I whipped up with fake reviews from a guy named Ray Sunshine. Spread the word it was a prototype ripe for the taking. Set up cameras, a drone, even a fog machine for drama. If Carl bit, we'd catch him red-handed. Live for all to see. He bit. 3 nights later, 2 a.m., that same van creeps up. Carl's there, no neck brace, all business with 2 guys in hoodies. They hit the roof, start unscrewing the decoy. Bam, spotlights hit. Fog rolls out. A voice booms. You're on camera. Thieves. Sirens wail. The drone buzzes overhead. And I'm watching Carl freeze like a deer in headlights. His guys slip, one eats it in the mud. But Carl just stares at the panel, like he knows it's over. I'm streaming it to the neighborhood chat, the HOA email, even Carl's own Facebook group. Phones light up across Pine Hollow, Mrs. Wong's cackling, Mr. Patel's sharing it with his cousins. Cops show up in 6 minutes. Nab Carl still standing there, muttering about preserving standards. It was over, but man, what a fallout. News vans camped out. Kids at school turned the drone footage into memes. Carl got trespassing, theft, conspiracy charges, pled guilty, got community service, banned from HOA boards for 5 years. The HOA collapsed. We got a new council. No fines for flamingos or overly green grass. Grandpa became a legend. Kids begged him to rig their bike alarms. Neighbors brought him pies. One labeled Zap King. I made a mini-doc from the footage, won 3rd place at a school film fest. My girlfriend, Mia, narrated it like it was true crime gold. The panel stayed, the fence stayed. The zap's off, but the cameras? Still blinking just in case. Pine Hollow's different now, folks wave, share tools, throw block parties. Carl's shelving books at the library, probably itching to alphabetize someone's life. That night on the porch, panels glowing in the sunset, Grandpa leaned back, coffee in hand. Didn't do it to be a hero, he said. I grinned. You did it 'cause Carl's face made your blood boil. He shrugged. That, and some fences need a little juice. Here's the kicker, we won, but Carl's still out there, and there's always another clipboard king waiting. Makes me wonder, how far would you go to protect what's yours? Ever had an HOA a boss? Anybody try to run your life with a fine and a smirk? What did you do? Drop it in the comments. I'm dying to know where you'd draw the line. Hit that like button if you'd wire a fence with Grandpa. And subscribe for more stories where the little guy flips the switch. This is Jake, signing off from Pine Hollow, where the sun's free, and we keep it that way.